Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Green Zone podcast and our final podcast on the NFL season. While we're still in season here in 2024-25 season, it's the final episode before Super Bowl Sunday. That'll be happening, of course, this Sunday. Between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Last week, our last episode, we kind of went over what things we think could happen for the games, like what it more so pertains to for each team to win and what's going to take for everyone to win and what it's going to mean for everyone to win. I want to get straightforward here, dive right into the position that I'm going to be in right here of making my prediction, who I think will be the Super Bowl MVP, and where do we go from here come football season coming to an end, and what the Green Zone podcast will look like here in the next month or so, because things are going to change a lot around the table and things are going to be different. I have a lot of different conversations to be had here on the Green Zone podcast. So we'll still be coming to here every Thursday for the time being right now. So I want to get right into like what I think the Super Bowl is going to look like here. It's going to be an indoor stadium, of course. So we know it's going to be a neutral site as it is over year, neutral playing field. I am going to say that I think that both of these teams are fitting to be in this Super Bowl championship. What I mean by that is I think it's probably the two best teams in the NFC all year and postseason. I'm not saying Buffalo shouldn't deserve to be in there. I'm not saying Washington didn't deserve to be in this game either. But beating the best, going through the best teams, I would have liked to seen Philly play Detroit, but we'll never know what happened there. We'll never know. Lions fans, if you're watching this, get over it. It's gonna, yeah, it happens. Whatever. Time to move on. But we're looking here what Kansas City has done, gone through everybody in the AFC. They beat the Ravens at week one, the opening night of football. And then that's led us to what this final game is going to be as we begin the season with the Chiefs in that contest. And we will end the season watching Kansas City. And it's a lot on the line, of course, for both games. One's the game on national television defending your home field on the night you get your ring. And it comes down to the Super Bowl being played here. Looking at what we're, I guess, looking at what I want to happen, and that is more so what I think is going to happen as well. Looking at this one here. So I'm going to get into, let's see some of these fun bets. I want to try and get over here about what the fun bets are, you know, in the NFL, if people actually pertain to these. So we're going to start with the national anthem length, currently set right now at 120 and a half seconds long. I don't know. Do we know who is singing that this year? Do we know who's um I'm trying to think, do we know who's singing the Super Bowl this year? Because that could matter a lot on here. I have my other bets and stuff. I have what I think is going to happen in the game. Halftime show. No, it's not. John Bastille will sing the national anthem. I'm going to go over 120 seconds. I think it's going to be a little fun one. There's going to be some intro to it. Um, the final note length over under at 3.5 seconds. And the home of the brave. Yeah, we're going to go over 3.5 seconds. I'll take that final note there. Kickoff temperature. That one's kind of interesting right now. It's like over under 16 to 20 degrees Celsius. I'm not great at math. I don't know my translations all that well. But we're looking at here some of the bets that I'm appearing on here. Drake appearing at the halftime show. No, I don't think that's going to happen. You can probably lock that one in there. Drake's or Kendrick Lamar's first song is going to be Humble. I don't think so. I think the first one's going to be one of his older ones. I think it's going to be but he already performed, I think, Mad City at the Super Bowl a few years ago. So I don't think it'll be that one. I think it might be Money Trees, possibly. Or it could be All the Stars. But I don't think he'll bring out SZA right away. That'll be one that'll come out later. So I'm gonna go. I don't know a ton of Kendrick Lamar music, but I'm gonna go with let's say the bet will be Money Trees. Money Trees will be the first song, be an older one. Get that in there. Kendrick Lamar's last song currently is the best bet at All the Stars. That is pretty good if you want to end it with SZA and Kendrick Lamar together there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take that one. I'll go. All the Stars will be the favorite to win that one. Total number of songs at 10.5. I'm gonna go under. I think it's gonna be like either at 9 or 10. I don't really know how much they really currently do or what's it normal supposed to be like. That's the halftime show bets. Taylor Swift bets. This is one is on here. Oh man. I want to read this article word for word. For the Swifties watching, there's another big bet you can place. If her boyfriend and chief star tight end Travis Kelsey will propose to her following the game. But Travis isn't the only Kelsey brother with a novelty bet, with former center Jason having odds for his outfit would look like on Sunday. So there's two bets here that are currently in the Kelsey bet. First one, will Travis Kelsey propose to Taylor Swift after the game? I mean, the favorite is no. I'm gonna roll with no because I don't think the Chiefs might be winning this game. We'll get to that here in a second. Jason's outfit will be rocking neutral outfit, Philadelphia, Kansas City. The favorite's Philadelphia. Of course, it's gonna be Philadelphia. He might wear something along the lines of the Eagles' clothes. Yeah, I'll take the the field, I should say, but I'll take the Eagles one there on. The winning Gatorade color. So purple is the one that's currently the favorite to win here. Purple at 210, yellow lime or green 220, orange 440, blue 700, red and pink at 800, and water or clear at 1,000 to 1. I am personally going to say, I don't know what was the Super Bowl color last year. That's a good I didn't do my research for this. What was it gonna be last year past winners? Looking here, I gotta fill out see what my the ranking is. So yeah, purple of course is the favorite. Last year it was purple. 2023 it was purple. 2022 the Rams it was blue. So it went purple twice, blue twice, orange, blue, yellow, none, orange, blue, orange. It has not been red in a long time. And where did I say the red one lined up here? Red slash pink is at 800 to 1 here. The Chiefs are going to try and go for the three-peat the first time that'll ever happen in Super Bowl era history. Therefore, I think it's going to be red. They're going to put red on both sidelines because if the Chiefs win, Andy Reid gets dunked in the red, and it looks historic to put in the facility of the Chiefs. And if you're doing the Eagles, it looks great if it's red. If you beat the Chiefs, you get that all over you and stuff. So I'm actually going to go red. Initially, I think I had purple in my head, but now looking at where it's been the last 2 years, I'm going to go red on that case. With that, though, let's shift over to what we really want to talk about. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about what we think is going to happen, all this and whatnot. So currently, with the final score, I think is going to happen here. Let's get this right off the bat. I think Eagles are going to win this one 27 to 24. There will not be a three-peat champion. We'll have to wait at least 3 more years for that to happen. Chiefs are going to fall in this one 27 to 24. I think for once too that the Chiefs have won the past two Super Bowls on interesting calls, we'll say. Like the Eagles one that happened 2 years ago, tough play that comes down the line. Not a fun way to win that one. You win in or in overtime against the Niners. I think the Chiefs are going to get a taste of their own medicine this one and realize that it is not all about them. What I mean by that, I just think some calls will not go their way. But I do think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last will get a chance to win this one. Um, when it comes to that too, the hardest part I think for Kansas City is they're playing in I say or what their sixth Super Bowl in the last 7 years. Let me just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 in the last 6 years. They were in the game. So looking at it, Kansas City has had their chance to become historic, and whatnot and stuff. And I think it's going to end here tonight because I think it's best for the league for the Eagles to win. I think it's best for Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley to get themselves one. And I think it's time. It goes both ways. Like it's historic, yes. It's historic for Kansas City to get a three-peat. It's historic for It's historic for Mahomes to be at least on par with Brady. I know what you're saying. It's a long stretch, but that's only assuming that we don't think Tom Brady will or that Mahomes will never win again. I guess you never do know, but he's on the same level right now as it really just feels like it's gonna be Brady and Mahomes is the two greatest to ever do it. With a win, Mahomes will be a four-time Super Bowl champion in his first 8 years of starting, or say 7 years of starting. If he gets MVP, which it's kind of a quarterback award, he will be a four-time Super Bowl MVP. I, we're looking at one of the greatest to ever play the game. And on a legacy standpoint, it makes sense for Patrick Mahomes to be in that, you know, in that realm, in that arena. He's already one of the greatest we've ever seen play the game. And that's not going to shift, I don't think, with this game, whether it goes down one way or the other for Mahomes. But looking at it here, though, this would be kind of fun for Travis Kelce to get another one, maybe right off into the sunset. Unless you're going to try and go for a four-peat. Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like it's best for the league for the Eagles to win. I'm not saying they're going to lean one way or the other. But I guess in my heart, I want the Eagles to win. And that's saying a lot because I'm not a huge Eagles fan. But I'm a Viking fan. And that's in the NFC. We want the NFC to at least get some balance back into things. So I said the color Gatorade will be red. I think it's going to be next year. I dumped in red Gatorade. And I think Saquon Barkley will be the MVP of this Super Bowl. I say that because I just think that Saquon is going to be used the most, utilized the most. He's going to be the reason why they win that game. He's the reason why they made the Super Bowl this year. He's the reason why he might be winning the MVP. Why the Eagles are one of the best in all of football this year. Saquon Barkley with the Super Bowl win this year, it'll be the greatest running back season in NFL history, and it will be the year of Saquon. We will not remember the Chiefs vying for a three-peat. We will not remember Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, even Saquon winning MVP. It'll be the greatest running back season in league history. And that's saying a lot for Saquon Barkley to make it there, but I think it will happen. So, lock in my final bets. Over the Super Bowl time limit, over on the final note, let's go no proposal for Travis Kelce. Let's go Jason Kelce will be rocking Eagles colors. What were the other ones we had here? The fun ones. The halftime show bets will be the first song. First song will be Money Trees. The last song will be All the Stars with SZA. What's the other one we got going on here? Um, oh, let's do coin toss. Coin toss real quick. Coin toss will be heads. Pretty bad. Coin toss will be head. And that's kind of what we're looking at there for the Super Bowl. Obviously, you got a bunch of plans lined up there for food and whatnot. It's gonna be the best thing. You know, the Super Bowl is my favorite days of the year. Really is something to look forward to every year. So I want to kind of like line up what's going to be happening next on this podcast beyond the Super Bowl happening going down. We're going to be having a lot more, I would say, like a transfer of power in a way. We will still be talking about the NFL for this next week after Super Bowl Sunday, and probably for weeks still. The NFL will always be a conversation will be happening here. But we will be transferring into college basketball. I know we haven't really touched on that too much, but you know, March is upon us coming up here shortly. March will be happening, and of course, our March Madness will be happening as well. MLB spring training will be going on soon. We'll also be doing some things along those lines. We are going to be start doing a NASCAR part of this race here coming up. Daytona 500 is the week after the Super Bowl, so we'll be getting some Daytona 500 stuff in there. It'll be fun to kick off some NASCAR stuff on this podcast, looking at things like that. And really, the NBA will still be shifting up here. That's what's going to be happening here next after the Super Bowl, beyond football season. I do want to dive into the trade deadline of the NBA today as well, looking at those kind of things, but just kind of previewing what's next for after the Super Bowl. You know, now that we kind of officially wrapped up the NFL season here on the Green Zone podcast. And it's been a great year of coming on here every week and giving my picks and my predictions and where I think stuff happens and stuff lines up and where I think teams should be, teams where they should be. It's been a fun year on this podcast doing the NFL. And, Who knows by next NFL season where this podcast will be taking place. Currently, I've always wanted to mention too that I say that we're at the College of St. Scholastica's media studio. I'm a senior this year, so I will be graduating this spring. So we talk about when the next NFL offseason comes into play or when the season begins, training camp starts. Of course, I will be have graduated from this great school, great facilities, and whatnot. So this podcast will still continue in some realm as we look into next NFL season. It might be a little different, but it plans to be done at the same times, just not the same places. Same time and place. We'll change the place on here, but we're gonna dive into here one more thing before um, we exit stage left on this podcast today, and that is the trade of all trades, and that's the Luka Doncic trade that I thought was fake. The world thought it was fake. The NBA landscape has shifted. This is one of those trades that happens that changes the game. It changes, like, there's an era of Luka in Dallas and post Luka trade. Like, there's a window there that this is going to alter a lot. Again, what we know is like Anthony Davis is a Maverick and Luka is a Laker, and those things coincide in one of the biggest trades, if not the biggest trade in season for sure, in NBA history. My initial thoughts are on this. I think Dallas won the trade short term because I think Kyrie Irving can be more flexible in what he is doing for. He can be a more ball dominant player. He can get more shots up, so on and so forth. Anthony Davis can now return to the power forward position. Daniel Gafford, who's been playing a great season, will be taking over there at the five, which he has been all year. You lose Derek Lively for most of the year anyway. Dallas wants to go all in and not have to pay Luka, whatever it is, $375 million. I kind of get it. Excuse me there for my yawn. I kind of get it. I kind of understand why, the Dallas Mavericks don't want to do this. So you get Kyrie, maybe to bring him back and do these sorts of things, and he can be fully, Kyrie. I think Anthony Davis might be a free agent next year, or I'm not sure his contract right now. Let's look at this. I know LeBron has a player option for next year, and that we'll get into that too in a second about what this means for the Lakers. Anthony Davis, in the year 2025, 2026, I believe he is still. Is he a free agent? Yes, he is. He's unrestricted free agent 2020, 2029. So LeBron is who I thought has a player option next year. He can be on that there. Now, what we're looking at here for the Lakers is you've built something to have beyond LeBron. That's great for them, and that's great for the Lakers franchise as a fan base and whatnot. You'll probably want to get Lucas signed as quick as possible to ensure that he's the guy into his late 20s and into his 30s. Because I don't know if LeBron comes back after this next year. Does LeBron want to play one final year in Cleveland and call it good? Does LeBron want to play one more year in Miami and call it good? Like, what does LeBron want to go out as? He can pretty much pick from the whole table of what he would want to do. Play one final year. Does he want to play two more years? Like, what does he want to play? It's tough to say what that's going to look like. But for the Lakers, they obviously got themselves a superstar for years to come. Top three players in basketball, and he's probably not three. You can honestly say that. Luka is one of the most talented players we've ever seen come in this league. He's third all time in points per game. It's ridiculous for what Luka has done, and this is one of them trades I think that happens every so often in sports. Talk about the Gretzky trade in hockey. You talk about I'm trying to think of the trades in football that I don't know if any of them amount to this. I don't know if you could say Herschel Walker, but one team's not building a dynasty and getting a bunch of picks with it. This is superstar for superstar. We don't see this happen in sports, and this is going to change everything. This is going to change how the way the NBA works. I think this is honestly too a direct shot from owners to players that, yeah, you are tradable. If you don't play a certain amount of games, you don't do this. Like, if you want to play for the first 3 or 4 years and you play really well, and all of a sudden you're only playing 40 games a contest, 50 games, 60 games, yeah, we're going to move you because we don't feel that we can win with you because you're never on the floor. I wonder, it takes Jurassic things for things to change. It takes a player to get moved or something to happen with an injury or something that people need to change how things are done. I think this Luka trade might change the way that these players think that they have all the power in terms of, hey, I got myself a nice contract. I'm gonna play when I want to play. I'm gonna do this when I want to do this, and I'm gonna take nights off because I don't feel like playing tonight. If Luka Doncic can be traded, hell, anyone can be traded in the NBA, and that's including Giannis, Jokic, LeBron, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. If teams didn't feel right, if the Timberwolves didn't want Anthony Edwards anymore, LaMelo Ball, like all these teams that we think of faces of the franchise, like oh my god, that would never happen. This Luka Doncic trade changed the way that we think trades happen, and it changed the way that these owners probably have possibilities of playing and GMs because I don't think that any team would want to have a player like Luka Doncic on their team and then find a way to trade him. And like, oh, we got one of the top two players in basketball. Let's move him. No, you don't think like that when you have that. But it also makes you think of if we don't believe in this right now and we don't believe in what we think is going on and what's going to happen in the future, and it's going to cost us a lot of money, it feels in a way like baseball when teams are sitting there like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to pay this guy in 5 years. Okay, well let's get him out of here before we have to pay him. Kind of what this trade feels like in basketball. It feels like it's a diss to the players who think they have the power in this game. It's the owners and GM player league. They decide what's going on. The players make the league, obviously, but the GMs and owners get the final saying in this. It's one of those trades that if it is so catastrophic of a trade that we all think it's fake, yeah, it's a groundbreaking trade that's going to change the way that we think happens. That's what I'm going to leave this thing out here in the Green Zone podcast for today. Luka Doncic is a Laker. Anthony Davis is a Maverick. We will only know in time if this trade is a win for either team, whether it's a lose for both teams. We will find out in the days, weeks, months, years to come on how this trade works out. So from Cameron Green on the Green Zone podcast, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to wish you all a blessed Super Bowl Sunday. Let's bless us with a good game on our hands as well. And let's pray your franchise player doesn't get traded by the next time I see you. So from Cameron Green on the Green Zone podcast, signing off. Wishing you guys the best rest of your day, rest of your week, and the rest of the NFL season.